Hi guys, so in the last video we talked about how to make a spreadsheet. Use a formula to check the contents of a cell, and if we got the right answer, it would reveal a letter. Okay, we did that with a simple formula that looks like this. Now here's my problem. I don't want the kids to be able to start clicking around in a spreadsheet and see the correct answer right here. I like to make it at least a little bit more difficult for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this formula, I'm going to copy it and delete it, and I'm going to take it over to the second tab in my spreadsheet, and I'm going to paste it here. Now, the difficulty with just pasting that is that C3 now references this cell, not the one on the other tab. So I need to tell it to go look at the C3 cell on the other tab. And the way that I do that is I write sheet 1 exclamation point, because sheet 1 is the name of the other tab. So now it's going to do that. And now if I go in here and I say 4, nothing happens here, it happens over here. Okay, so that's okay. That gets my formula onto this sheet, and that's good. But now I need to take that T and make sure that it shows up here where I need it to. So now we have to go the other way and put the contents of D3 on that first sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here, and we're not going to write our whole formula, the original formula. We're going to just write equals sheet 2 exclamation point D3. So it'll take whatever is showing up in that cell and put it right here. And you can format. Notice I have already formatted this these cells to be green with conditional formatting if there's something in them. And I also formatted the text to be centered, and I formatted what the text is going to, what kind of font it's going to have. So even though this sheet was not formatted that way, this sheet is, and it still brings the content over and formats it according to the properties of this tab. So that's good. So I went ahead and did the rest of these as well. So notice I'm just referencing the other tab, okay? And it still looks like it did, like it still acts the same way as it did before, but now it's getting that from the other sheet. Now this cell as well, I did the same thing. I copied that formula and I put it over here, all right? And then I referenced the contents of that sheet. So when the students, if the students are just clicking around, they're not going to see all of the answers. Okay, so I like that. All right, so let's talk, that's a good way to do this. Oh, and then you would want to hide this sheet so that they don't actually see that. Let's make it just a shade more difficult for them. We can hide that sheet, and so when they open this and it says sheet 2, they can look and they'll be like, there's no sheet 2. They may know that they can go up here to view hidden sheets and look at it. They might not. Okay, and sometimes I like to put this, instead of it in the exact same place that it is on the first sheet, I'll put it way over to the side or somewhere that makes it a little bit harder to find. Okay. All right, so you can hide that second sheet, make it a little bit more difficult. I do almost everything that way, so when you see those references, that sheet 1, sheet 2, whatever, that's what's happening. Okay, so let's talk about something a little bit different, because I ran into a situation where I wanted to tell the students really if they had the right answer or the wrong answer. I wanted to give them some good feedback, not just by revealing a letter, but I wanted to actually say, yes, that's correct, or no, that's incorrect. And the problem I ran into was this. If I write a formula, let's say just like my original one, if C2 is equal to 4, and then it revealed the T, right? Maybe I want to say right, that that's the right answer. And then if it's wrong, I want to say wrong. Okay? Let me show you what happens that is bad about this. Well, first it is checking. Oh, I checked the wrong cell. Okay. So it's telling me it's right. Here's the problem. If the cell is empty, it's going to tell me it's wrong. So using our original formula, this made sense. But if you are, it made sense because that second condition, or that second option, was blank, right? Because we originally had this empty, and that's why it worked. But now if we're going to try and give them feedback, wrong feedback, then we're going to have a problem. So we need to handle a third condition. And for that, we're going to need a little bit different formula. And I'm not going to lie, I have to always copy and paste this one because I can never remember it. But what it's actually going to look like is something like this. Let's make sure it references the right cell. We're going to have it check cell C3, and then if it's right, if it does equal 4, if this condition is met, we're going to say right. But then we have to add another if statement inside of the other statement, and we're going to say if C2 is empty, then we're going to leave it blank. And then otherwise we're going to say wrong. And there's actually a third thing on the end here, and it has to be there, and I don't know why. But I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, so now we have to make sure that we're referencing the right cell. There we go. So now it should be empty unless I have the right answer or the wrong answer. Okay? And with that, you can make something a little bit more interesting, like this. So this will tell you if you have it wrong or if you have it right, and it will be blank otherwise. Okay? So here's an example of one that I actually put a hyperlink in as well. And notice there's only one sheet. So let me go view that second sheet and you can see what that formula looked like. It said if that particular cell we were interested in was equal to cell membrane, and notice that's in quotes because it's text, then we put a hyperlink to this video and we said click here. But if it was blank, then we left that answer blank, and otherwise we put sorry, incorrect. And then you have your extra quotes on the end. Okay? And what we did here was we used this to link the students to a video that gave them the information they needed for the rest of these questions. So this was actually more of a learning activity than just an assessment. It was kind of a formative assessment where they had to, this gave them a guide of what to look for in the video, and this gave them the video. So that's another way to use your sheets for a breakout. Now I'm going to make one more video where I'm going to show you the most complicated mess that I did with using Google Sheets for a breakout, where I had it reveal a letter on a second tab in a little bit different way. So be sure to check that one out.